crossed a major procedural hurdle last night in advancing the Trump administration's $9 billion rescissions package.
But the fight to get it across the finish line is far from over. 3 GOP senators who voted against it are pushing back against components of this bill, including slashing funding for the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. Congressional correspondent Kilmeny Duchardt live for us on Capitol Hill with an update on this. Kilmeny, good morning.
Yeah, Sean and Emma, good morning. That $9 billion is the product of a tough day of negotiations on Tuesday between the White House Republican leadership and many Republican senators. Senators securing a win on preserving the foreign aid program PEPFAR, which is around $400 million that goes to the prevention of HIV and AIDS, mostly in African countries. But it's an open question right now whether this is ultimately going to be enough to get this legislation across the finish line. The Senate's late night session to advance that rescissions package closing in at 51-50 with Vice President J.D. Vance as that tie-breaking vote. Republican Senators Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, and Mitch McConnell rejecting that procedural vote. They're all top appropriators, and more than $1 billion in cuts to the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. That's been one of the thornier issues. Collins issued a lengthy statement saying that even after conversations with the White House, nobody really knows what program reductions are in this package. She cited $2.5 billion in cuts to the Development Assistance Account, which covers everything from basic education to water and sanitation and food security. But another unresolved issue for her and the GOP is what she calls the excessive cuts to the Corporation for Public Broadcasting that she says would harm local programming and the accessibility to popular programs. She's argued that in her state of Maine, funding for NPR and PBS supports the Emergency Alert Network, coverage of high school basketball championships, a locally produced high school quiz show, and classical music stations. But she's also acknowledged what others have pointed out, that much of its programming has been biased. Her colleague, Republican Senator Jim Banks, posting this NPR article titled, "What Queer Ducks Can Teach Teenagers About the Animal Kingdom." So there's still a split in the party about whether these programs, of course, should be federally funded if they can't be regulated. So whatever changes, of course, happen in the Senate, and the Senate's going to have this vote-a-rama on all of these amendments today, so we're potentially looking at final passage on Thursday. That's got to go back to the House now, past the House, and then, of course, all of this before the president's Friday deadline. Emma, Sean?
All right, Kilmeny Duchardt reporting from the Capitol. Kilmeny, thank you.